1922. He was in jail for the next 55 years. He missed the Depression, World War II, Elvis, Kennedy, King, the Panthers, the riots, landing on the moon, Woodstock, Watergate, disco. He missed it all. And then suddenly on the eve of Reaganism, he got his walking papers. Deacon Man did not want to go. He was old, losing his hearing. His job as sweep-up man in the kitchen provided him with 3 solid squares a day, and he was used to not being hungry. He went to the warden. He said, "Warden, I am 76 years old. I don't have a life outside of these prison walls. For over 50 years, I've watched men come and go, and they've run the gamut from good to bad, stupid to brilliant, and just plain old unlucky. But whatever their crimes, these men are my family. The younger ones don't bother me, and the older ones are grateful to have survived. You see, even behind prison bars, longevity has its place. This is my home. All I've ever done in my life is kill a man in a fight and sweep the kitchen floor. If you send me away from here, I will die a painful and lonely death. And I don't think that's fair because I paid my dues. And all I'm asking for now is to be allowed to die with the dignity I've earned from 55 years of service." But the warden couldn't hear Deacon Man. So there he was in the winter of '78 on the streets of New York City. You can check your books. It was one of the coldest ever recorded. And less than a week after he got put out, I got word that Deacon Man had been found frozen to death in a deserted subway station. And I had prayed to God, "God, give me this one last thing, and I will never ask you for another." And I got it. Because Deacon Man didn't suffer long, so he didn't have time to suffer hard. Amen.
Is courtesy of the Collective Arts Theater and this station. As the story is told, 12 years after a group at Jamestown finally survived, on the tail end of August in the year 1619, a boat carrying almost 24 men and women arrived on the shores of Hampton, Virginia from Angola, Africa. Like so many other immigrants, they came to America as indentured servants who worked their contracts and earned the right to freedom for all. The following is courtesy of the Collective Arts Theater and this station. Known as the Moses of her people, Harriet Tubman stands in history as one of the world's greatest spies. Despite not being able to read or write, she is recognized as one of the most brilliant and fearless conductors on the Underground Railroad. There are 19 documented reports of how Harriet Tubman infiltrated southern farms and plantations to guide over 300, maybe many, many more, to freedom.
Miss Rose Nichols. Nat Turner killed my family in Southampton County. So before you think about doing away with the Confederate flag, think of what I lost.
Freedom of my mind, freedom of my mind, I've got freedom of my mind. My name is David Walker, and I urge each of you to find a copy of my appeal and read it before America is consumed.
My name is Rose Nichols. Nat Turner killed my family in Southampton County. So before you think about doing away with the Confederate flag, think of what I lost.
We're going to finish this and have that conversation, man.
My name is Nat Turner, and I was the general that carried out the first successful slave insurrection.
When a symbol becomes such a representation of something so bad and so evil, you can't take pride in the heritage part of it.
You will never do away with that flag in the hearts of the true Southern people that believe what it really represents.
These abolitionists that are represented here didn't have a problem with it. And so it's really not their problem. It's our problem in the 21st century about what to do with this flag. Because a lot of us are very ignorant of that history, and we need to understand, and I agree with you 100%, this needs to be in classrooms across the country. And that is one of the responsibilities that we feel here in Virginia, is that the history that pertains to the beginning and the end of slavery in America.
There are so many people outside of this room that need to be in this room. We can't drag them in, but we can continue the dialogue.
No man or woman is free until all are free.
Don't change history by denying it. And you can't erase history.
My name is Rose Nichols. Nat Turner killed my family in Southampton County.
I say today, now, after doing this play and hearing your comments, I actually have changed my opinion personally about burning the flag.
7 years ago, our forefathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure.
My body was bound, hands, feet, and mouth. Master had me down, thought life was bound. But I've got freedom, I've got freedom, I've got freedom of my mind.
The following is courtesy of the Collective Arts Theater and this station. The first battle of the Civil War took place in Southampton County, Virginia, August 21st through 23rd, 1831, when almost 60 white men, women, and children died in the Nat Turner insurrection. A militia to quell the fight was raised at Fort Monroe. Turner was captured 6 weeks later, tried, and hanged. In the immediate aftermath, over 200 black men, women, and children were jailed and killed as suspected supporters of the insurrection as slaveholders fought to maintain a dying institution. The following is courtesy of the Collective Arts Theater and this station. The Second Battle of the Civil War took place at a federal arsenal located at Harper's Ferry, Virginia in October 1859, with abolitionist John Brown's raid, where he declared that the slaveholders' enslavement of other human beings was an abomination before God. As he was led to the gallows on December 2nd, 1859, John Brown accurately foretold that the end of slavery would come only with much bloodshed.
Kings and Queens is a game show comedy with a little bit of history in it. It's basically 3 kings and 3 queens, and they're playing Egyptian square. That history and learning could actually be fun and entertaining.
To take these plays into schools and churches.
But my passion and my profession is directing, singing, and acting, and dancing. Because I'm the one, sir! Bring it down! On the basis of what people view us as, but we have to understand the truth about who we are, understand the truth about where we're going, and understand what our past is like, and how others' perceptions of what that past may be will be their perceptions, but it is not always, or can never always be, the truth.
You are all
Awesome. Let's give it another try. Egyptian square. Egyptian square. Brooks, Madero. I am Hannibal. Please answer. Please. Is that a Roman letter? I don't like the Romans.
Until my ancestry is accurately portrayed, I must boycott these Egyptian squares. I'm an actor, singer, and dancer, so I'm an artist. I ascended to the throne at age 17. 20 years later, Egypt challenged for world supremacy. She committed suicide, no. She went to a cave to lay down to have some her time. Snakes, asked to be exact, nesting nearby, and one of them got her. You would learn about Cleopatra, who she was and what happened to her. You learn about Makeda and Zinga, Kama, Afonso, and Hannibal. You learn about these black warriors and their struggles.
All right for the battle.
Yes. He used to call me his sweet little Queen of Sheba, and I used to call him Sweet Daddy Saul.
The craziest
game show host. Read my biography or you will suffer greatly this day and hour.
And a lot of times as a queen, we automatically do that because we are nurturers. So she's definitely a nurturer, but she's a warrior and always will be a fighter.
My name is Karma, and I'm a king.
Also, he brought Christianity to his people.
Not the aim. In their world, enslavement was not all hell. One could work hard and end up living quite well. Oh, but we know they're safe and we are all reborn. We know that we are forgiven and no longer forever gone. We will meet together beside the blood-red sea. We will all remember. We will all be free.
The following is courtesy of the Collective Arts Theater and this station. Armed with their belief in an ideal and the courage of a dream, millions of oppressed people journeyed to freedom by way of an underground railroad, where along the way, families, neighbors, and strangers, sometimes spontaneously, more times quietly, held true to the principle that the promise of freedom for all be upheld for every American citizen. The following is courtesy of the Collective Arts Theater and this station. May 21st, 1861. Frank Butler, James Townsend, and Shepard Mallory made their way to Fort Monroe, where they petitioned Union General Benjamin Butler for their freedom. Butler, a lawyer, calculated that as slaves were constitutionally defined as more property than human, in this time of civil war, he could put them on the path to freedom by claiming them as contraband of war. Thus began the journey of Fort Monroe's role as America's freedom fortress.
Well, so it's good that we're, working together. So you'll represent the SBA Juneteenth kind of branding. Patrick will be working with the Hampton Arts branding. We're all working on the shows together, of course. There is no...
Here at some point because it was beautiful to be out there in the water. You could definitely feel the spirits and all that kind of stuff like that. It was no, joking about it, but it's again, this area is filled with those kind of like places and spaces, you know?
Yes, indeed.
That's how the information gets passed around.
It gets around. And
one of the stories I would love to do is in 1826, 5 years before the Nat Turner insurrection, he baptized a white man in a lake right there in Southampton County. So the idea of this black man baptizing a white man in 1826 was just unheard of. Unheard of. And so people came from all around. It was like this big event that happened in terms of what happened. And that's just an unknown story that I believe would be really interesting to people. I mean, the whole.
I've always wanted to come into this theater.
It's a beautiful big space, isn't it?
Yes, I remember when it was first done, when the remodeling had been done and it first opened, and I got a chance to come in with some people and look around, and I loved it. And then I found out that this was a place that was historical. It's a historical place.
And I'm here in the lobby of the American Theater. We are doing an American History summer play reading series. The first play, Army of One, James Armstead Lafayette, tells the story of an enslaved man based in Portsmouth, Virginia, who was hired by the Marquis de Lafayette to spy on Cornwallis at Yorktown. He did this, provided great information for George Washington, and helped America win the Revolutionary War. We are ready to do our read-through of Army of One, James Armstead Lafayette.
People support freedom from oppression for all people. The English have grown greedy and mean. Their King George is not content to be king of their country, but rather...
Military matters. Excuse me, what does impetuous mean? It means that the Marquis de Lafayette sometimes acted, right?
The Ethiopian regiment, and then Cornwallis as his line.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so should that be...
Take me to General Cornwallis. I'm a slave seeking freedom.
Then you simply... Why is France helping the colonists in their war against the English?
Let me say first that the French people support freedom from oppression for all people. The English have grown greedy and cruel. Their King George is not content to be king of their country, but rather he wishes to be king of the world.
Discuss my orders just one last time, please.
But of course. James, this is a map of a road leading to Yorktown. You will be accompanied by my men until you reach Hampton.
This document identifies me as another man's property, and these injustices I suffer along with many of my kind whose forefathers hailed from Africa and now call these colonies home.
It is quite...
Please meet the American's secret weapon.
James Armstead?
This man will go down in history as one of the greatest spies of all.
I offered you freedom. Why was that not enough?
The goal is to involve generally non-professional actors to be a part of.
About free blacks. It doesn't talk about the fact that blacks owned slaves. Of course, it wasn't called Black History.
Okay.
But we did.
Not a lot, but a lot was talked about.
Our second play is Ben and Jefferson. This is a conversation between Benjamin Banneker, our first African-American scientist, and Thomas Jefferson, third President of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. These two tinkers and thinkers were pen pals in real life, and the conversation helps us understand more about how great genius went to the founding of this nation. Our theme, our primary theme of this piece. So what we're going to do this time is just read straight through, and once we do that, then...
Hello everyone, my name is Nisha Witt. There is no doubt that Hampton Roads is one of the most beautiful and historic areas in the United States. However, these very same beautiful and historic areas are sinking.
He called me a dreamer. I confess to that, and also to that of being a realist. In this imperfect system, much is lost, but I am here now to learn what I did not know.
Greetings, dear citizens. Welcome to a conversation between two great thinkers and tinkers. Kinda cute, huh? Benjamin Banneker and Thomas Jefferson. I am your moderator. Some biographical information on Benjamin Banneker, who stands tall as America's first black man of science, astronomer, and inventor.
Hello world, my name is Benjamin Banneker.
Here is Thomas Jefferson, author of the Declaration of Independence, third President of the United States, Governor of Virginia, founder of the University of Virginia.
And don't forget slaveholder. Yes, allow me to share my story of how I was one among the multitudes in that beautiful Quaker town of Philadelphia in July of 1776.
A momentous and joyous occasion, was it not, Mr. Banneker?
Mr. Banneker, the audience deserves to know more about your great life. We would be remiss if we did not share your shining example to those who would gain much from knowing about your accomplishments.
There is a call today for a lot of things that are named after Jefferson to
Sally's family.
The name plays on those.
When we're doing math, they say use a rule.
Right, that's true.
Saw that as a standalone. You think about Benjamin Franklin.
The final play, which will be on Sunday, August 9th at 4 p.m. here at the American Theater, is Abolitionist Museum. And that play will deal with 8 historical figures who are wax figures in a museum. The museum curator has brought in a Confederate flag. These historical figures make a determination about whether or not to burn the Confederate flag. With all of our shows, we have a post-show conversation with the audience after they have seen the performance as a way of helping people connect the past to the present with the goal of overcoming those problems that are rooted in the legacy of slavery. Our hope is that you will come here to the American Theater and participate in this study of American history, your history. We'll go with David Walker, Harry Beecher Stowe, Frederick Douglass, curator, and you're going to be John Brown and Abraham. And
you got Nat Turner.
Symbol of a past that cannot be denied. Surely we must find ways that do not reek of childish behavior when voicing our dissatisfaction at the state of affairs.
Talk, talk, talk!
God is ahead of you, Mr. Lincoln. God did not let you win that.
And more. Abolitionists, agitation, intensified hostility between the North and the South.
in 1829, about 2 years before Mr. Turner's insurrection, I wrote a 76-page pamphlet, generally referred to as David Walker's Appeal.
Only 13. Harry ignored the order and went to the aid of Blackbeard. When the man dashed through the door, Harry stepped between him and the overseer and raised the overseer, picked up a rock and flung it at the escaping man.
Repentant nature.
How come you're the only one with the right to fight? Mr. Lincoln, one of the reasons I believe God entrusted to me the task of sharing Uncle Tom's story was to force white people to look at good, kind Negro people being denied basic human rights.
But said that I was marked for God's work since birth. At the age of 4, I read from the Old Testament, and no one taught me this. For my family and friends could neither read nor write. And white folks, it was illegal for them to teach us, those who were so inclined to.
Nat Turner, perhaps more than any other figure in this museum, has been much maligned by history's telling of his story.
You have told everyone's story except mine.
Ain't too much been said about me, but that's all right. As long as I'm in my God's light, all is well.
And except for Uncle Tom's cabin, not much ever gets said about me. And I...
Mr. Lincoln, the union of good and evil takes all.
And that is why we must burn this flag.
Yes!
Yes!
Yes! We're gonna burn it! No!
Ask the question, if you were a resident in this abolitionist museum, all of those you who would vote to burn the flag, give me a show of applause. You would vote to burn the flag, show your hand. Okay, you're a resident in the museum, you would vote not to burn the flag.
Learn from, and you can't do it without all of it there.
So
the history of oppression and people are the ones who oppress others. So it's not. It means a lot if you burn the American flag.
That hasn't changed anything. And it seems like there's more black people.
I served in the military, so I don't want the American flag burned.
I feel that it is a symbol of hate and
Feel this way. That's my interpretation.
Love your fellow, brethren, regardless of their race.
We cannot just sweep it under the rug and say it's going to be.
Used to burn the flag in the play. But as Carl...
Basic human sense of empathy and passion.
People lost their lives to start a national discussion.
When is the United States of America?
Let Elijah have the final word of the day here.